The secret to the classic SpongeBob formula is traditional animation and fresh ideas, something this movie was sorely lacking in. The SpongeBob movie Sponge on the Run, initially titled It's a Wonderful Sponge, directed by Tim Hilton, is the third installment of the now SpongeBob movie trilogy, based on the uh, highly beloved 21-year long running animated TV show created by Steven Hillenburg, and is still Nickelodeon's number one show. So, Sponge on the Run tells the story of SpongeBob and Gary are growing closer than ever, though when Plankton hears that King Poseidon in Atlantic City is placing an order for a replacement snail to make to make his appearance look as presentable as possible. Wait a second, there's a Poseidon. What's happened to Neptune from the first movie? Oh well, but so Plankton kidnaps Gary and takes him to Poseidon. So it's up to SpongeBob and Patrick to, you guessed it, go on a road trip to bring Gary home. SpongeBob, I'm pretty sure you already did this in Have You Seen This Snail? Of course, this movie was initially going to be released in cinemas in May this year, but due to the global situation, even though we were robbed of the chance to see the third SpongeBob movie outing on the big screen, the most practical option they could do was to put this movie on Netflix for UK or audiences. And in fact, the release date for this movie is so is be is just confusing and all over the place. It's released in it was released in several countries before the UK and US, and I think Canada and Australia got it first, but the US, I feel bad for them. They have to wait until 2021 to see this movie. But I finally got the opportunity to check it out on Netflix, and you all know me. I review anything SpongeBob related. You've seen my review of the show and the first two movies. I watch the show like there's no tomorrow, and I personally prefer the first SpongeBob movie, but still have a ton of fun with Sponge Out of Water, and I and I and I that's all I wanted from Sponge on the Run, just a ton of fun, and uh, I I have to say I my all of my predictions and my theory that this would turn out to be my least favorite SpongeBob movie all came true when I watched this movie. It pains me to say this, but this is by far the weakest SpongeBob movie of the trilogy, and it's easily the most forgettable. This movie's not a cinematic disaster or anything, and heck, I would take it over some of the worst SpongeBob episodes like One Course Meal or a Pal for Gary at any day of the month, and and it does get some things right, but yeah, I but I am ready to share my thoughts on this movie. I mean, the laughs are all still here, especially SpongeBob and Patrick annoying Squidward. That never ceases to amaze me how funny that still is 21 years later. And the voice actors Tom Kenny, Bill Fagerbakke, Caroline Lawrence, and Roger Bumpus, and Clancy Brown, and Doug Lawrence, they all they they all still know how to voice the Bikini Bottom crew down to a T 21 years later. And there is at least one uh, catchy song in this movie, and it's my favourite scene in the entire movie, hands down. The secret to the formula is you. Yeah, that was the moment where that was the moment in the movie with the most heart, and I felt like I felt like I was watching classic SpongeBob again. But but yeah, as for and there is a beautiful tribute to Steven Hillenburg in the end credits of this movie, after he sadly passed away in November 2018. So this movie is dedicated to his memory, which so so it still pays a wonderful tribute to the show's creator. But but this but it but Sponge on the Run, to me, you could retitle this movie A Not So Wonderful Sponge. It it works far better as just a extended SpongeBob special, but it fails as a movie. It's a it's a has no cinematic feel or flair to it, and the plot is the most boring and unoriginal plot of the entire trilogy. It's just a, uh, a rehash and combination of have you seen this snail and the first SpongeBob movie meshed together with Gary going missing, SpongeBob and Patrick going on a quest all over again. I mean, the writers at Nickelodeon literally have shown that they 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 were truly scraping the bottom of the barrel for a plot for their third SpongeBob movie. I mean, and and this movie fails to raise the stakes when it needs to. I mean, have you? I mean, even have you seen the snail? Did the missing Gary storyline 10 times better? That actually raised the stakes for Gary when he was, adopted by that elderly lady who fattened snails up and then ate them. But so there feels like there's nothing at stake to the quest to return Gary, because all Poseidon wants to do is use Gary as a body wash or something. And and the most pointless scene in this movie is that doesn't uh, mesh well with the rest of the movie whatsoever, is when SpongeBob and Patrick are dreaming, and in their dream they're in this western town and they're breathing on land somehow without helmets, and then Keanu Reeves' character Sage, who's like their guide and mentor throughout the movie. I mean, and then there's this dance number, which is literally a "Where's Wally? Can you spot this celebrity cameo scene?" I'm like, what? Why is this scene even here? It's just stalling the movie. It added literally nothing to the quest to bring back Gary, and it just wastes precious time. And Poseidon is unquestionably the my least favorite antagonist of the SpongeBob movie trilogy. I mean, where are the great villains from the first two SpongeBob movies, like Plankton and Dennis from the first movie, and Burger Beard from the second movie? The Poseidon, he's just literally King Neptune number two. He's self-obsessed and terribly vain, and his plan to, use snails to keep himself looking like a flawless god is not threatening. And and Plankton is set up as the main antagonist when he kidnaps Gary to get SpongeBob out of the picture to nab the formula. But then Mr. Krabs just willingly gives the formula to Plankton when the Krusty Krab runs out of customers, and then Plankton has an out of nowhere change of heart and just becomes part of the good gang to bring SpongeBob home, uh, which is totally out of character for Plankton. And and Karen. I mean, I think that Karen I only recall her having one scene in this movie, so this is the most wasted she has ever been. And my biggest issue with this movie, I know that there are fans that have defended the look of the CGI animation. This is the only all CGI SpongeBob property, but I I mean, all the power to you if you are accepting of it, but I'm afraid I can't agree. I was not impressed by the decision to CGI this movie. At least Sponge Out of Water had the 80% of it was was traditional SpongeBob animation, and yeah, and whenever I look at this movie, I'm like, you could have at least, done it in stop motion, like some of the SpongeBob specials, but no, I mean, see, I mean, I was okay with the Peanuts movie being all CGI because that still captured the look of the classic animation of that show, but this doesn't. It makes it look like you're watching the longest SpongeBob cutscene in the recent SpongeBob video game instead, and and Sandy especially looks off, when they make her all fluffy in 3D, and then there's the addition of Camp Coral, which is to set up a SpongeBob spin-off show, of course, where we find out that SpongeBob met Gary and each of his friends literally at Camp Coral, but that entirely retcons episodes like Tea at the Tree Dome, where SpongeBob first met Sandy in the classic series. So I can see fans are getting deeply upset by Camp Coral, and also the Camp Coral flashbacks in this movie go on and on and on. So so this has the pacing of this movie is slower than Gary can walk. It's that bad, and and uh, and finally, I know this is such a minor thing, but when SpongeBob and Patrick are taken to the cells in Atlantic City, there's one scene where SpongeBob and Patrick fall out, and then Patrick opens the cell door and goes to another cell. I'm like, if you can open the cell so easily, then there's zero tension. Just open the cell door and escape and get Gary. What's stopping you? There was even some superb concept art which Steven Hillenberger thought of during the behind the scenes of this movie. I don't know why they didn't include some of those awesome ideas and unnecessarily rewrote the script. Last but certainly not least, the title Sponge on the Run makes no sense at all with the context of the movie's narrative, because SpongeBob isn't on the run from anybody. I mean, the title "It's a Wonderful Sponge" would have been wonderful. That was the title I was hopeful this movie would stick to. There was no need to change it. So overall, I don't have the heart to give this movie a rant. At least I can say I laughed during this movie, but it's not enough for me to want to watch a Sponge on the Run again anytime soon. It's certainly not enough to make this one of my favourite SpongeBob properties. I would put this movie on par with neither the greatest nor worst episodes of the show. Just I'd put it on. I'd rank it with the okayish by the numbers episodes. But even though this may be one of the most disappointing animated features of 2020, at least I can rank it higher than Scoob. Thank goodness.
I give the SpongeBob movie Sponge on the Run 2 stars out of 5. Meh movie.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer raising, but hey, I would love SpongeBob to continue its run for a few more generations, and if there is a fourth movie in the far future, I would be up for it. I love you guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what are your thoughts on Sponge on the Run? And what's your favourite SpongeBob movie in the trilogy? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you all next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.